Hello, we are the Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. I'm Amy.
And I'm Kayla.
One podcast, two
two
sisters.
sisters. This is going to be a little special clip because we recapped After the Altar on this week's episode of Stop Wearing My Clothes podcast. And instead, we come have a new episode out every Wednesday, which we still will. We'll have one out tomorrow. That includes this recap, as well as reality TV news and a Bachelor recap. So we wanted to drop this a little early for you guys because we just couldn't wait to talk to you about it. So here is After the Altar recap, and be sure to check out the full episode tomorrow.
Enjoy. Let's just go into the After the Altar
Recap. Yes.
Yes.
So going into it was like, what were you most looking forward to see?
SK and Raven. I wanted to know how that was gonna play out. Literally the whole time I was confused because I was not sure of what the timeline was of when this was filmed compared to the reunion, compared to knowing that SK cheated. So I was like confused. I thought at first when it started, because it's showing like their love story through that After the Altar. I was like, wait, are they just not going to talk about it? And have they gotten back together? That's actually what I was thinking. I was confused because I didn't know. So what is the timeline? I'm sure you know.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, if I understand it correctly, he was cheating on her the whole time he was on Love is Blind. And when they broke up and when they got back together and this whole time. Like,
so he's just a big old liar face?
Like, after watching After the Altar, like, he has to be a sociopath. Like, it's actually, like, he's so convincing. And just, like, Raven's a smart girl. And, like, the fact that, like...
Why did he propose to her again then?
He's loony. Like,
did he think he just would? Is he like a sex addict and he just wants to bang everybody, but he wants to be with Raven? Or does he not even care about Raven?
That's a great question. SK really hasn't talked much, and it was like some blonde girl, and she's the one who went and called him out. I think she did it on TikTok, and he was open with her that he was doing a show that called Love is Blind, and he was engaged to Raven, but it's not real. It's just TV. Yeah, I know.
So Raven is going to be on the Vile Files on Thursday, and I am so not excited because it's actually really sad. I'm very so sad for her. Okay, so we can be excited, but I'm so curious of like, did he just flip a switch and was he mean to her after that? Like, how did he talk to her about it? Did he apologize? Like, I am so curious of how that exactly played out because we don't know. They didn't give us really any information. So that's what I was most excited about, is to kind of, I was hoping that there would maybe be more of like I don't know. I guess he cheated, but I just wanted it to work out somehow because I really believe Raven in that whole show was the most surprising. I think that I judged her a little bit, and I don't even know what exactly I thought she was going to be, but she is everything. And I say Raven for Bachelorette.
Yes. I love her so much. I love her more than any other. I mean, all the girls are great, but she's my favorite. And I think she's just the most real and genuine. And way too good for any of the guys there.
Yeah, all the girls are way too good for any of the guys there.
I love the Bachelorette idea. I just like don't know how like the production studio crap, but I mean, we're getting 1 inch closer to her being on the Vile Files, right?
Yeah, yes. That's it. Maybe they'll talk about it. Maybe Nick will put a little feelers out there. I don't know.
I would love it.
So what were you most looking forward to when you were watching it?
The exact same of what you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I have us talking about those two at the end because I have the most to say about them. Yeah. Let's start with Zanab and Cole. So the first time we see Zanab is like she is with the girls at lunch. Like they were savage to Cole at that girls' lunch. Like, what did you think?
I think he deserves to be sliced. Savage. I don't
sliced.
No.
Did you been watching you too much?
Like, I just mean he deserves to get dogged on. He's a douchebag. He did not prove himself to be any better of a guy. I mean, I think he deserved everything that's been said about him. I feel bad for him a little bit just because I think he's delusional. I really don't think he even like can see. I don't think he's self-aware whatsoever.
Yeah. See, that's what I am the most confused about that relationship. Like
Mm-hmm.
everyone's either just very like Team Cole to Team Zanab. I like them both individually. I think Cole is
Yeah.
kind of funny and quirky and weird. He probably out of all the guys would be the one I'd most go for.
Yeah.
And Zanab, she's beautiful and like she could get any guy she wants, but just how just like differently they see things and what went down is just like really hard for me to wrap my head around. And I just don't understand, and it makes me like question both of them. I was like, they're like usually in these type of things, it's not usually just one person's right and one person's wrong. You know,
Yeah.
there's probably like a little bit of both. And sometimes the way Zanab carries herself when it comes to the whole situation just seemed a little off-putting to me, but at the same time, like I don't think we're ever going to fully know Cole and that whole situation. I'm like just kind of I'm confused as Cole is.
Yeah, I think that sometimes Cole makes comments though that like is really douchey, which makes me like lean more toward Team Zanab. But then at the same time, I do think that Zanab probably, I mean, she even admits to this, has probably a lot of insecurities, a lot of daddy issues, I mean, that she's working through. And I think that that probably played a big part in maybe how she took some of the things that Cole said. But I mean, some of the things that Cole said, terrible. But the cutie situation, I actually think he's right.
I know the cutie situation is like the mind fuck.
That's a bad example. But if he had said other things, that could have just been like, oh, another thing you're saying I can't eat, or something like that. But Cole made a point like, eating an orange? Why would I tell you to only eat one orange? That would make you healthy. Like, why would I tell you not to? I don't.
Yeah, I think Zanab is definitely valid in her feelings, and it's good that they're not together. And if Zanab needed to be the one to put her foot down in that, good for her. I thought she killed the whole after the altar. I thought she was so funny. There was one thing, like when it was her and her friend getting ready to go to Alexa's birthday party. Have you ever heard like of this saying? Because I have not. Are you ready to throw biscuits on that base?
What is that?
They're talking about dancing at the party. I've never heard of that before. Have you?
I've never heard of that, no. Is it like shaking your butt because your butt's the biscuit?
Throwing those biscuits. I don't know. That'll be us in Palm Springs. And another thing to maybe go against Cole too is how he interacted with Alexa's stepmom. Like it seemed like she was a little like it was awkward.
Yeah, and also I was like, is he drunk? Because it almost kind of seemed like he was just like, you're not her mom. You're like just kind of being like a little obnoxious.
Once or twice is like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, but he said it like 5 times.
Yeah.
So that was a little awkward and almost like, made me look at Cole as a more full person. I was like, okay, so if he's very unaware and self-aware in that situation, he could be in other ones with Zanab.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, the thing that bothered me was his conversation with his 2 little friends. 2 little friends, I don't know what I call them.
Oh, yeah, but, like at the very first episode.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm going to move to San Diego and get a bikini babe. Like, he just seems very surface level in that thing. And also, Zanab is gorgeous, so, like...
she's like...
Not that he's ever said that... I just don't understand why looks would be a problem.
I mean, people have types, whether that's a body type, whether that's a personality type, so there is that. I think people are allowed to have their preferences, but I mean, not at the expense of other people. Yeah.
But that's also why this show is tricky.
Yeah.
It's like...
Hot take.
Yeah.
I think Cole and Colleen would have actually gotten married if they chose each other. And I think they would still be married.
I like that because can we move on to Colleen and Matt now?
Actually, there is one like kind of news thing that came out after the altar about Cole. Let's take a look.
After the altar. And what surprised me is that Cole actually thought that they were still going to date after their wedding day. I mean, what's your thought on that?
Well, that's not true. Like he dated someone from our cast like soon after. So I just feel like he wanted to put on this front of like, sir, you had a year and a half to
So what do you think about Nancy said? I mean, all of the girls are definitely against Cole at this point, but I mean, I don't think she would lie about him seeing someone else.
Yeah, but what? Well, who? Tell me. You can't make comments like that and not tell me who.
I know, that's true. That's true. I'm curious if it's any of the girls who are going to be on Perfect Match, like LC, I think. She's actually, she was in the pods, but no, she was
With
season
Bartise,
2.
I think,
No,
right?
she was season 2.
Oh.
Oh, wait, so then
Oh,
on the cast,
yeah.
that wouldn't work. Never mind. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she kind of just dropped that and didn't give us any details. So maybe Cole will be the next one on Viall Files.
Ooh.
All right. They should do like a reunion of After the Altar.
Let's talk about Brennan and Cole's conversation. What do you think about that? What do you think about their beef with each other?
So when I first watched the show, I was obsessed with Alexa and Brennan. I thought they were so cute. I still really love Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's just because of some of the headlines that came out. I'm trying not, but just something about him on the After the Altar rubbed me the wrong way.
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan anymore.
Do you have anything more you'd like to say upon that?
I just feel like, okay, the headlines is, I don't know too much about this, so I'm not going to go into details, look it up, but there is like a charge against him when it comes to domestic violence, which no, on any level. And I don't know, it just, the way he talked down to Cole, like he's so much better because he ended up happy in this experiment and got married to the person. So even like when all the boys got together and how he was talking to Matt about them not living together, it just seemed very like superior. Like, oh, okay, I'm the king of season 3 of Love is Blind and all of you guys suck. That's kind of how I felt. I don't know. What do you think?
I could see that. I see him being a little judgy, but at the same time, I almost feel like he's standing up for what he thinks is right at the same time. But it's so hard to say because it's like a TV show and we only see like parts of it. And because we have the background knowledge of this charge against him, like it kind of muddies the waters and makes you not really know like where the vibe's coming from. As I watched Alexa and Brennan, I love them. I don't think that he is gonna mess with Alexa.
Oh, she would. She would kill him.
Yeah,
like actual murder.
Yeah, and I think maybe that works for him. I think he needs someone like that, and maybe, I mean, like I said, we don't know exactly what happened in that scenario, and no one spoke about it, which is not frustrating. But at the same time, I feel like wouldn't you want to clear the air if that wasn't true?
Yeah.
But then also, I don't want to give space for this necessarily, but like, can people make mistakes in that scenario? Like if she was hitting him, like, there's so much that could happen.
Yeah, I don't know
in a domestic violence. So there's so much that can happen in a domestic violence situation. Never right, but you know what I mean? It's just hard. It's hard to say.
He probably didn't want to make like another headline about it if he like talked about it again on After the Altar. And I mean, Alexa's sticking by him. She knows the truth. She's happy with him and their relationship. So I mean, that's all we can. I mean, obviously, he's not hurting her. So that's he doesn't have any red flags when it comes to that when I see them together.
No, and he talks her up and like makes her feel so confident about herself and is like,
not that she needs that much, that's my woman. But she doesn't need much of that. She's got it all on her own. But
totally.
I love her. Can we talk about that dress to her birthday party? Those are the vibes I'm giving. I'm having a funeral to my youth for my 30th birthday party at the end of the month, and those are gonna be the vibes I'm giving.
Yeah. So good.
She's so hot.
That whole party. Yeah, she was just the light of the whole After the Altar. Like
she's just the star of the season. I mean, it's easy to say. Sure. What did you think of the interaction between Brennan and Alexa's dad on the first episode?
I was kind of confused by it.
It was awkward.
I think Brennan said it well. It's just like, it's like he likes to pick fun at him or whatever, and he kind of just has to go along with it, and it's like, whatever. I don't know. I wonder if culture has something to do with it too, though, like the way that he is.
Sure, I could see that. It's so cool that Brennan's family is there with them at Shabbat dinner. Like, how amazing is that?
Especially because they're so different. Farmer people and like them. It's just I just think that what they've created is actually pretty
so cool. And I think they're lifers. I have no doubt in their relationship.
It made me laugh really hard that Brendan gave Alexa a little baby onesie. I was like, wait, they're not having a baby, but he just got it for her. Like, that's so cute.
That was weird to me. I was just like, oh, okay. Like, that's, I don't know. I'd feel pressure or like, I don't know. It was weird. The baby doesn't exist yet.
Okay, I thought it was weird too because I thought it was going to be an announcement. Like I thought when they showed the little preview of it, but they also it almost seems like she wants to have babies, like has talked about it. So maybe that was just like that is something she would like personally. That's kind of the way because she seemed to have.
I looked over at Marcus. I was like, "Don't ever buy me a onesie. That's weird." Okay. So good. Colleen and Matt.
I just don't understand them. I haven't from the beginning. I don't think that they're a good couple. I don't know why they're still together. I don't know why they even stayed together after the show.
They hate each other. They hate each other. Like
and there has been a lot of like people talking about maybe that was even a domestic abuse situation. I mean, who's to say? They've gone back and said no, that's not the case at all. But like sometimes the way she talks is like she's scared of him.
Really? Okay. I didn't sense that. I sensed she just hates his guts, like to her core.
Or maybe just like is afraid to disagree with it. I don't know what it is.
I mean, I definitely saw his temper during the season.
It was better.
Yeah. They don't live together, which they
because of her humpy dog and his humpy dog and he cares more about the dog than her.
Yeah. They were fighting at the party and Raven's like, it's a weird vibe, dude. Like, just everyone sees it, so it's not just us.
Well, yeah, and then who was talking to them about like having babies and he's like, "Oh yeah, we're ready." And she's like, "What?" Like
yeah, and I also noticed like when they were at lunch with Matt's parents. First of all, that was just like already like weird and awkward also. But she's like, when they talked about kids, she's like, oh yeah, I want to have kids. And then she corrected herself saying, we do. Like they aren't gonna make it through to the summer.
Yeah, I know. I wonder if it was just like they want to continue on to be on TV. And so they're both, or like, I don't know. I think they need to go to therapy.
Individually. They should give up on their relationship. I don't think they should work on it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't even really want to talk about them anymore because I don't know what to say. I just
do you think they bought a house yet?
I hope not.
To buy a house together when you can't even live together in your current situations is so risky.
Well, and also to even like have to consider what would happen if you broke up. Like immediately they're talking about looking houses and she's like, oh, well, what's going to happen if we're not together anymore? It's like,
then don't.
That shouldn't even be a thing.
It took 10 years for me to be okay buying a house with Marcus.
I will say this. Do you want to know something?
Okay.
There is a new study that came out that the divorce rate of people who don't live together before marriage is way lower. Isn't that surprising?
That is surprising.
I mean, it's a study, like a real study.
From what establishment?
I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But I saw it, and it was like a legit thing. And I thought that was really interesting.
It wouldn't be what I think from my experience. But, you know, I'm going to be one of those people, if I have kids and they are telling me they're getting married before they live together, I will buy them a house to live together before they can rock down the aisle.
It's everybody's own decision, dude.
Let's do Nancy and Bartise. So they had lunch together, and it seems like they've spent some time together since everything. What's your initial thought on this relationship?
I was for sure hanky panky has gone down.
She says no, but she said
yeah. Well, she said there was a night that got intimate. What does that mean? If you didn't,
maybe making out. No, okay, maybe they did.
Okay, if they start making out,
okay. This is the problem though. With Nancy and Bartise, I think this is where it becomes really important because it's weird. So the only person from this Love is Blind cast who is going to the perfect match is Bartise, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so the original season filmed July 2021.
Mhm.
And then Perfect Match filmed March 2022. And a couple months after that, in August, after The Altar was filmed. So he has already gone and filmed Perfect Match at this point.
Huh. Interesting.
So I think that is what she's insinuating of her being hurt, of him going down the show. Right?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I mean, I think that we have all, well, a lot of girls have had a Nancy situation where I think that she's holding on to him and she thinks if she just continues to be her fun self, and Bartise is confusing. He hangs out with her and gives her flirty, happy vibes, but thinks that she knows they're never going to be together, even though he's putting out all the vibes that they could possibly be. It made me just feel bad for Nancy, and I think that it was good that she just, I don't know that it's actually going to stay that way, but she kind of tried to put a stop to it. It seemed like
at the end they said, no, we aren't going to be friends. And I've really specifically, I know I talked crap about Brennan, but I liked when Brennan put Bartise on the hot seat. I was like, when on boys' night, and he's like, does Nancy know though that it's not any more than friendship? And in my head, from what, like, just for me seeing and also maybe being in certain situations, like, I think Nancy, in the back of her head, whether she's going to say it or not, was maybe like thinking maybe.
Oh, for sure.
So I think that was definitely the best decision for her, especially when she's thinking this and then he goes off on another dating show. Like, poor Nancy. And it also makes more sense of like the built up anger even since the original season aired, and with her like family and her mom who called him the poop emoji. I love her mom. Everyone needs a mom like that.
For sure.
Let's see. And I guess that's kind of all we have to say about them, right?
Yeah, there wasn't much, really. I think that the girls all gave her good advice. I think she has a good, strong support system to really help her through whatever continues to go on.
Agreed. All right, so Raven and SK, we talked about a little bit, but one thing that additionally surprised me when watching this is that they lived together at this point. And when everything went down with the cheating scandal, I did not know they lived together, and I did not know that they were engaged again. So it just makes the breakup even worse than we all thought.
Especially when it was SK pushing the progression so hard. All she was like is, we're trying to get to the graduation and then seeing what our future holds. But he's like, I love this woman. There's no one else. Like I have gold that I need to.
All the nice things he was saying, that just makes me, something's wrong with him. Like, it doesn't make sense, everything that he was saying, and it doesn't match what he was doing. And I also thought this scene was very interesting when Raven was going on about how you intern, you go to school, you have a full-time job, and I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't even worry about you calling me because I know how busy you are. And he's like, well, the goal is to stay organized. He was just basically telling us how he cheated on her. He stayed organized, and he was like, Raven's on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and then I call the other bitches on Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah. Well, I mean, being in different areas makes it pretty easy. So I'm assuming the girl was where his school was.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but most likely I would think so too.
Yeah, they were just so cute together too. And him too, but she was so...
She really, it broke my heart at the very end when she was just her in the camera of just I've never given myself away like that to somebody. I think that it's really hard for her. And so it just makes me so sad. And because it is going to go into her next relationships, probably some for the better, some for the not so better. One question I had, do you think the brother knew?
Maybe. I want to say no, just because I hope not. Because then he's a little evil villain too, and I want to chop his wiener off. But maybe, I don't know. Or maybe he had some sort of weird vibe from him or something, because he definitely was preaching more of are you sure about this? Are you sure about this? A lot of doubt.
Yeah. One thing my husband Marcus said also is remembering their background and their dad who has several wives and it not, not maybe being as diabolical or as a big deal in his head as other people, even though he was I mean, I'm not giving him a pass because he was in a monogamous relationship that he agreed to. But I thought that could maybe have skewed his brain a little bit to like what's okay and what's not okay.
Yeah, I could see that. But basically the comment telling the girl I'm on a show and it's not real, that nixes any sort of sympathy that I could have for him.
Same.
So I'm excited, like next week or even probably before this, we'll probably somehow talk about Raven on the Bio Files because that's, I'm hoping, going to give us some sort of clarity. We're probably not going to ever completely.
Yeah,
but
definitely be recapping that. Either we'll probably touch on this next week's podcast or on our TikTok, Instagram. So be sure to follow us at Stop Wearing My Clothes Pod. We will on top of that. I'm gonna leave it with a few months later, and then we just see kind of Raven talking to the camera, kind of telling us what happened. Was that enough for you? Like, what were you expecting versus what you got? Or I could go first if you want.
No, I can answer that. I wish we had something from SK, but I'm sure he probably was like, no, I'm not going to talk about it because I am an idiot and I'm wrong. And I know that the world is going to want to crush me. And I think that it was okay that that's all Raven wanted to say. I don't think it was for us to necessarily know or expect more because think about how much that would hurt. You just had all these things, and it sounded like she had maybe even gotten to rewatch the way she had been feeling before,
like that.
Which she was like cloud 9, like wonderful. One weird thing I will say though is they never had them together like they did the other couples, even during the whole show. They did.
Not very often, but I know for sure one time they were both on the couch.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's probably because of his schedule too. But But anyways, I feel like think about how hard that would be for everybody to just see that all happening and they're just so happy for you and you can't really talk out. You can't say things about it. And like, I think that we're lucky that we even got that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And I was thinking the same thing. I was hoping to see something from SK. Not that he would have anything to say that would necessarily change my opinion about him. But at the same time, I was like, you know what? No, Raven should be the only one who has this platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Who knows? Maybe he tried to say something and we're like, yeah, that's right. True. We're not letting anybody see that because you
No,
suck.
That's very true. And I do have a question on, like, to wrap it up on the after the altar recap, but we kind of already talked about it, so I think I know your answer. The MVP of ATA after the altar. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Raven. Okay, sorry. But yes, I'm obsessed with her. And
I want to go to her Pilates class and look like.
Let's do it.
Where does she live?
Unclear.
I know. I feel like
I have no clue.
Look it up. Or I think she even has online stuff.
Maybe I've heard a lot of people taking her like YouTube class or something like that. So definitely do that. We love Raven. Wishing her the best. And at the very end, we have a perfect match sneak preview, which we will also be recapping. It comes out actually the 14th on Valentine's Day this week. So we will be recapping next week. And I'm so excited.
So our full episode will be out tomorrow. Make sure to come back and check it out.
See you soon.